The alarm shattered the dim haze of the station house like a gunshot, yanking me from a half-dream where Aaron's laugh echoed off the Charles River docks. Sirens wailed as I bolted for the truck, heart slamming against my ribs. Not from the call, but from the ghost of his voice whispering my name like a secret. By the time we hit the blazing warehouse in Southie, flames licking the sky like devil's tongues, I knew this run would carve me open deeper than any blade. Henry Callahan, Engine 33, Boston's finest, or so they say when the beers flow after a shift. 28 years old, built like the brick tenements I grew up in, with hands calloused from axes and hoses, not piano keys or desk pens. I'd hauled ass through South Boston streets since I was a kid, dodging Ma's wooden spoon and Da's whiskey breath, dreaming of sirens instead of screams. Firefighting wasn't a job. It was the only thing that drowned out the ache, that hollow spot where love should have rooted but twisted into something sharper, forbidden. That night, the warehouse was a beast. Old textile mill turned squat for junkies and ghosts, now feeding on its own inferno. We geared up in the truck's red gut, masks fogging with our breaths, the captain barking coordinates like a drill sergeant on bad acid. Callahan, you're on vent. Breach the roof. Don't let it flash. I nodded, adrenaline spiking, the familiar burn in my veins chasing away the fog. But as we rolled up, acrid smoke clawing the air, I spotted the car parked crooked against the chain link. A silver Audi, plates screaming yuppie from Back Bay. Sarah's car. My Sarah, childhood Sarah. The girl who'd shared peanut butter sandwiches under the Big Dig overpasses, who'd cried on my shoulder when her folks split, who'd dragged me to proms I hated because she needed a brother to play pretend. And then I saw him. Aaron. Leaning against the hood, phone glued to his ear, his dark hair tousled like he'd just rolled out of one of those overpriced lofts in the seaport. He was yelling into the receiver, voice cracking over the roar. Sarah, babe, I'm fine. Just get here. But his eyes locked on mine through the truck's window, wide and wild, like he'd seen a specter. Aaron Hale, Sarah's boyfriend of 2 years, the golden boy architect who'd swept into our lives like a nor'easter off the harbor. Harvard grad, all sharp suits and sharper smiles. The kind of guy who made Southie boys like me feel like we were still scraping tar from our sneakers. I didn't have time to process. The hose uncoiled like a serpent, and I was up the ladder, boots pounding aluminum rungs slick with dew and danger. The roof groaned under my weight, heat radiating through my turnouts like a lover's fever. Vent it! Someone hollered below, and I swung the K-tool, shattering a skylight in a cascade of glass that rained like brittle stars. Smoke billowed out, black and choking, but in that split-second clarity, I glimpsed movement inside, shadows scrambling, a figure stumbling toward the edge. It was him. Aaron, inside? No, had to be a trick of the light. But then a scream cut through, high and human, and my gut twisted. I dropped to my belly, peering through the breach. Flames danced below, devouring crates and forgotten looms, but there, crouched in the corner, coat singed, was a kid, maybe 18, eyes bugged with terror. Not Aaron. Junkie kid, probably, but in that moment, every face blurred into hers. Sarah's. The one I'd protected since we were 6, building forts from milk crates in the projects. The one who'd never know the half of what I carried for her. Not sisterly, not quite, but tangled, unspoken, a boy's crush that matured into something I buried under layers of bravado and bunker gear. I rappelled down, line biting into my gloves, the world narrowing to breath and balance. "Hey, over here!" The kid froze, then bolted, straight into my arms as I hit the floor. He was light, all bones and desperation, reeking of smoke and cheaper sins. I hoisted him like a fallen comrade, slinging him over my shoulder in a fireman's carry that tested every ounce of my 6'2" frame. Alarms blared in my helmet, oxygen hissing like a serpent's warning, but I pushed through the maze, flames nipping at my heels, heat searing through the Nomex like a brand. Outside, medics swarmed, stripping off my mask as I dumped the kid on the gurney. Coughs racked me, lungs burning, but the rush, the save, it was euphoria, pure and punishing. That's when Aaron was there, hands on my shoulders, steadying me as I swayed. "Jesus, Henry. You okay?" That was insane. His voice was velvet over gravel, concern etching lines around those green eyes that always seemed to see too much. Up close, he smelled like cologne and city rain, a far cry from the sweat and diesel of the station. I shrugged him off, gentler than I meant. "Part of the gig. What the hell were you doing here?" "Sarah, no, you're playing Urban Explorer." He laughed, but it was brittle, fingers lingering on my arm a beat too long. "Long story. She sent me to check on a client site, thought it was empty. Lies? Maybe, but his touch lingered like smoke on skin." Sarah arrived 10 minutes later, tires screeching, her Prius a soft intrusion in the chaos of flashing lights. She threw herself at me first, always me, arms wrapping tight, her blonde curls tickling my neck. "Henry, oh God, I saw the call on the scanner. You scared me shitless." Her voice muffled against my chest, and for a second, I let myself hold her, the old ache flaring like a struck match. Sarah O'Malley, my anchor, my almost. The girl who'd known me when I was scrawny and scared, picking fights to prove I wasn't soft. She'd fixed me up after every one, bandaging knuckles and egos, never asking why my eyes wandered to the boys on the field instead of the cheer squad. Aaron watched us, something unreadable flickering in his gaze. Jealousy? Amusement? Couldn't tell. But when Sarah pulled back, kissing my cheek with that sisterly smack, he stepped in, wrapping her in his arms. "He's a hero, babe. Our hero." The word "our" hung there, possessive and peculiar, like a hook in my gut. We ended up at the Claddagh, a dive off Broadway in Southie, the kind of place where the walls wept Guinness and the jukebox spun Springsteen on repeat. Shifts end like this sometimes. Debrief over pints, war stories traded like baseball cards. Sarah insisted, her way of stitching us back together. "You two need to bond," she'd said in the car, squeezing my thigh like old times. "Aaron thinks you're some mythical beast. Time to humanize the fireman." The bar was a haze of neon and nostalgia, leprechauns leering from faded signs, the air thick with fry grease and forgotten dreams. I nursed a Sam Adams, bunker pants still on, suspenders loose over my t-shirt, the weight of the day settling like ash in my bones. Aaron slid into the booth opposite, Sarah off charming the bartender for a round of shots. "That was close in there," he said, leaning forward, elbows on the scarred oak. His shirt was untucked now, collar open, revealing a sliver of tan chest that made my throat dry. "You ever think about how one slip? Poof. Gone." I met his eyes, those emeralds flecked with gold, and felt the pull magnetic, dangerous. Every damn day. But that's the job. You build walls around the what-ifs. He smiled, slow and knowing, like he'd peeked behind mine. Walls? Huh? Sturdy ones. There it was again. That undercurrent. Words laced with double meaning. I shifted, the vinyl seat creaking under me. Steel reinforced. Boston tough. Sarah returned. Trays balanced like a waitress pro, her laugh cutting the tension. To Henry, savior of strays, we clinked, Jameson burning down, and for a while, it was easy stories of our kid days, Aaron chiming in with his polished anecdotes from the Cape, summers sailing in Hyannis where Kennedys once romped. But as the night wore on, Sarah's head lolled on my shoulder, buzzed and blissful. Aaron's foot brushed mine under the table. Accidental? His gaze said no. Heat crawled up my leg, unbidden, and I jerked away, spilling foam on the table. Easy. Killer, he murmured, low enough that only I heard. Sarah stirred, mumbling about crashes, and I volunteered to drive her home, our ritual, me the designated knight. Aaron followed in his Audi, tailing us through the labyrinth of one-ways, the city lights smearing like wet paint on the windshield. Her south end brownstone loomed, gas lamps flickering on the stoop like hesitant fireflies. I carried her up the steps, keys jangling from her purse, tucking her into bed with the tenderness of a brother who'd never crossed that line. But as I turned, Aaron was in the doorway, silhouette filling the frame. "She's out cold," I said, voice rough. He nodded, stepping closer, the room shrinking. "Thanks for tonight." "For everything." His hand found my bicep, squeeze firm, thumb tracing the curve of muscle earned from hauling hoses up 5 alarms. "You're more than the gear, Henry. More than the hero shit." The air thickened, charged like the warehouse roof before the breach. I swallowed, pulse thundering. "What are you saying?" He leaned in, breath warm on my jaw. "Baby," he whispered, the word a spark to dry tinder. "That's what I call you in my head. Since the first time Sarah brought you round." "Baby." The world tilted. Betrayal? Not yet. But the seed was planted, roots clawing deep. I shoved him back, gentle but firm, storming down the stairs into the muggy night. Boston swallowed me whole, her streets a vein pulse of secrets, and I walked, fists clenched, wondering how the hell I'd burn this fire before it consumed us all. That whisper haunted the next shift, echoing in the clang of the pole as I slid down for a false alarm in Dorchester. Some kid with a Roman candle gone rogue. The station was a hive, guys ribbing each other over chow, the air ripe with chili and camaraderie. Mikey O'Brien, my ladder partner, slapped my back. "Heard you pulled a Houdini last night, Cal." "Save the day and the dame's man," I grunted, forcing a grin. Just another Tuesday, but inside, it churned. Aaron's voice, that endearment like a brand on my skin. Sarah texted mid-morning, heart emojis and lunch? Miss my boys. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Our trio had formed easy, her the glue, me the muscle, him the mind. Picnics in the common, Red Sox games where I'd scream myself hoarse while they canoodled in the bleachers. I played the third wheel, content in the shadow, nursing my silence. But now, cracks spiderwebbing. I met them at Tasty Burger on Boylston, the sizzle of patties a counterpoint to the knot in my chest. Sarah bounded in first, all energy and earrings, planting a kiss on my lips. Platonic, always, that made Aaron's jaw twitch. He sat across, casual in chinos and a Henley that hugged his swimmer's build. But his eyes, they stripped me bare. "Rough night?" he asked, passing ketchup like it was contraband. "Slept like a rock," I lied, burger grease slick on my fingers. Sarah chattered about her gallery show, abstract oils that bled emotion onto canvas. And I nodded, half listening, my boot nudging his under the table by accident? Or was it? He didn't move, just pressed back. A silent dare. Heat flushed my neck, and I excused myself to the John, splashing water on my face, staring at the mirror's stranger. Blue eyes, shadowed, jaw set like granite, the faint scar from a '09 roof collapse snaking my temple. Who was this man, teetering on the edge of ruin for a glance? Back at the table, Sarah's phone buzzed, a client crisis, and she bolted, leaving us in the vinyl booth's limbo. "She'll text when it's sorted," Aaron said, voice low, stirring his shake. Silence stretched, taut as a guideline. "About last night, forget it," I cut in, sharper than intended. "Booze talking. You're straight as they come, Aaron." "Sarah's lucky," he laughed, bitter, leaning in. "Am I? Or is that what I let you think?" His fingers drummed the table. Wedding ring tan line absent. Good Catholic boy. Or so Sarah joked. "Look, Henry. I've watched you. The way you move through fire like it's water. The way you look at her, like she's the sun, but your eyes drift. To me, my heart seized. Bullshit, but it wasn't. Not entirely. I caught myself once, at a barbecue in her backyard, watching him flip burgers, forearms flexing, sweat beading on his neck. A stray thought, buried quick. Now it surfaced, gasping. He reached across, palm open. "Touch me. See if it's bullshit." The diner blurred, forks clinking distant, and for a heartbeat, my hand hovered. Then I pulled back, standing abrupt. "I can't. She's family." I tossed cash and fled, the door's bell mocking my retreat. The afternoon shift dragged, a brush fire in the fens turning into a structure call, abandoned Victorian coughing smoke from its eaves. I led the entry, axe in hand, the team's trust a weight I wore like armor. But inside, beams creaked like accusations, and Aaron's word, "baby," looped, a siren's call. Was it flirtation, pity, or the mirror to my own hidden hunger? By dusk, I was at the gym, pounding the heavy bag in the station's basement, sweat flying like sparks. Mikey wandered down, spotting me. "You good, Cal? Look like you swallowed a grenade." I paused, gloves stinging. "Just life." He clapped my shoulder, oblivious. "Ain't we all?" "Hey, that architect dude, Sarah's? Saw him eyeing you at the Claddagh. Like he wants a piece of the action." I froze. "What?" Mikey shrugged. "Nah, forget it. Brothers before." "Whatever." He lumbered off, leaving me with the echo. "I'd me?" The bag took my next punch, leather splitting under knuckles. That night, alone in my one bed over a laundromat in Bay Village, rent-controlled slice of heaven for a civil servant, I cracked a beer, staring at the wall's water stain shaped like a question mark. Sarah called, voice slurry from wine. "Aaron's being weird. Distant." "You notice." My throat closed. Nah. He's solid. Lie upon lie. But he texted then. Number saved from group chats. Can't stop thinking about your hands on that hose. Strong. Sure. When can I see them again? I deleted it, but sleep evaded. Dreams weaving flames and flesh. His whisper coiling around my throat. Boston slumbered outside, her harbor lights winking like conspirators, and I wondered if heroes ever got to fall without burning everything down. The next call came at 3 a.m. A grease fire in a Chinatown walk-up that escalated to a full-room inferno when some fool doused it with water. We rolled out in the witching hour fog. Trucks growl scattering alley cats, and I rode shotgun, mind replaying Aaron's text like a bad reel. Captain glanced over. You with us, Callahan? Eyes front. I nodded, snapping to the city's neon veins blurring past. The building was a tinderbox, narrow stairs clogged with takeout boxes and tension. I took point, thermal imaging painting ghosts on my mask. Clear left, heat warped the air, a living thing pressing back. But we advanced, methodical as a heartbeat. Midway up, a door buckled, and out tumbled an old woman, nightgown aflame. Instinct kicked in. I tackled her low, smothering the fire with my coat, her frail body trembling against mine. Got you, ma'am. Easy now. Medics took her, praising the save. But as I stripped gear in the truck, phone buzzed. Sarah, Aaron's out late again. Client dinner. Miss you. Come over tomorrow? Brunch at my place. Guilt twisted, sharp as rebar. I typed back, wouldn't miss it. Then, against better judgment, checked messages. Aaron, dreamt of you last night. Fire and skin. Wake up soon? Delete. Block? No, cowardice stayed my thumb. Instead, I showered at the station, scalding water doing nothing for the chill in my bones. Mikey caught me toweling off, towel slung low. Dude, you got that 1,000-yard stare. Girl trouble. I barked a laugh. Always. He didn't push. That's the brotherhood. Know when to swing by. Dawn broke gray over the harbor, gulls wheeling like scouts, and I crashed at home, sheets tangled with unrest. Sleep came fitful, visions of Aaron's mouth forming that word again, his body arching under mine in dream logic, Sarah's face dissolving into smoke. I woke hard and hating myself, coffee black as tar the only absolution. Brunch was her domain, a sunlit kitchen in the brownstone, smells of bacon and blueberry muffins warring with the faint jasmine of her perfume. Sarah greeted me at the door in yoga pants and a tank, hair piled messy, all domestic goddess. My night, she hugged tight, body soft where mine was hard-earned steel. I inhaled her vanilla and vinyl from the gallery, and for a moment, it was simple, the way it should have stayed. Aaron emerged from the bedroom, sleep-rumpled in boxers and a tee, scratching his chest. Morning, hero, the word casual, but his eyes lazy, lingering on the V of my shirt, said otherwise. Sarah swatted him playful. Behave. Henry's off duty. We ate at the farm table, her salvaged from a Beacon Hill estate sale, plates clattering with easy chatter. Stories of her latest artist, a queer painter from Provincetown with strokes like lightning. Aaron's firm landing a gig on the Green Line extension, sleek stations rising from tea-dirt. But undercurrents swirled. His foot found mine again, deliberate this time, tracing my ankle while Sarah scrolled Instagram, oblivious. I froze, fork midway to mouth, eggs turning to ash. Pull away, and she'd notice. Stay, and I'd combust. Pass the jam, I muttered, voice strained, and he complied, fingers brushing mine electric. Post-meal, she shooed us to the living room. Bonding time, her code for guy talk while she prepped for a showing. The space was her, eclectic rugs from Marrakesh markets, shelves groaning with art books and our childhood Polaroids. Me and her, gap-toothed at Fenway, arms slung like promises. Aaron sank into the couch, legs manspread, patting the cushion beside. Sit. Relax. I perched on the arm, arms crossed. What's your game? Hail, low, urgent. He tilted his head, smile crooked. No game. Just truth. I've been fighting it since that first dinner party. You, all brooding intensity across the table, laughing at Sarah's jokes like they were scripture. But your eyes on me when she wasn't looking. Hungry, lies, but my voice cracked. Traitor. He rose, closing the distance, heat radiating. Then why haven't you run? His hand cupped my jaw, thumb on my lip, and I inhaled sharp sandalwood and sin. The kiss was inevitable, a crash of mouths, his tongue probing like he owned the map. I groaned, hands fisting his shirt, pulling him closer, the world narrowing to the scrape of teeth, the press of his hips. Sarah's keys jangled in the hall. We sprang apart, me to the window, him to the coffee table, casual as felons. She breezed in, tote slung. Got a jet, kisses, hugs all around, her lips on my cheek lingering. Love you, and you're the best. The door clicked shut, and Aaron turned, eyes dark. That wasn't nothing, I bolted then, mumbling excuses about a nap, streets blurring as I jogged to the common. Ducks quacked indifferent on the lagoon, joggers pounding paths, but my pulse was thunder. What the fuck was that? Betrayal's first taste, bitter on my tongue. Sarah, my Sarah, who'd held my hand through Dad's funeral, Mom's cancer scare, the night I came out to her in whispers over White Russians, her acceptance a bomb. I knew, dummy. And I love you more for it. She didn't know about Aaron. Didn't know I'd buried my queerness under layers of macho. Dates with women that fizzled polite. Hookups in dive bar bathrooms that left me hollow. Fire was safer, clear lines, hot and gone. But him? He was the blaze I couldn't quench. The station called me in early multi-alarm in Alston. Student dive bar torched by faulty wiring. Chaos reigned. Co-eds in PJs herded to curbs. Flames gutting the frat house next door. I led the interior attack. Hose roaring. Water arcing like judgment. Midway, a beam gave crack like lightning, and it pinned my leg. Pain exploding white. Callahan down. Voices overlapped. But I clawed free. Adrenaline the great equalizer. Emerging singed but standing. Word spread fast. Sarah showed at the ER. Aaron in tow. Her face pale under makeup. God. Henry. She clutched my hand. Foredripped and bandaged. He hovered. Gaze conflicted, worry. Want. Wrath. Tough son of a bitch. Later. Alone in the room. He slipped in. Door soft. Scared me. His kiss then was tender. Apologetic. Fingers in my hair. We can't. We won't. I lied. Tasting him still. Discharge brought rest, but unrest followed. A week of desk duty, pushing paper while the city smoldered without me. Sarah nursed me, soups and stories, our rhythm unbroken. But Aaron's texts persisted, miss your fire. Sarah's out. Come over. I resisted, mostly once, twice, deleting. Then, weakness. A late-night knock at my door. Him in sweats. Rain slicked. Just talk. Talk became touch. Clothes shed like inhibitions on my thrift store rug. His body was revelation, lean plains, scars from childhood bikes, cock hard against my thigh. I mapped him with mouth and hands, reverent, rough, his moans a liturgy. Baby, he gasped, arching, and I shattered inside him, the line crossed irrevocable. After, tangled in sheets, he traced my tattoos, Semper Fi from Dad's Marine days inked on my pec. This is wrong, his voice small. But right, I held him, harbor fog muffling the world, knowing dawn would demand payment. Sarah sensed the shift, her brunches laced with questions. You too. Closer, we'd laugh it off, but her eyes searched, hurt budding. Conflict brewed, a storm front rolling in off the Atlantic. I threw myself into recovery, PT sessions where I lifted weights like grudges, the station brothers none the wiser. Then the betrayal proper, a 5-alarm in Roxbury, warehouse district again, ironworks reborn as artist lofts. Sirens converged, my leg protesting but holding. We breached, systematic, but screams pierced, trapped tenants, Sarah's clients among them. I pushed deeper, axe swinging, until I rounded a corner and froze. Aaron, there, in the fray, not client, but with a man, younger, lithe, hands clasped in panic. Not Sarah's architect. Her lover? No, the way they clung. It was intimate, desperate. Henry, Aaron's face blanched, but the kid blonde, pretty, clung tighter. Help us, I hauled them out, muscles screaming, smoke searing lungs. Outside, oxygen masks on, Aaron pulled me aside. It's not, but the lie died on his lips, my glare iron. Who is he? Ex. From college. Showed up, got stuck, partial truth. Maybe, but the seed of doubt flowered poison. Sarah arrived, frantic, wrapping me in relief before spotting them. Her face crumpled, recognition, then rage. Aaron? What the? The fire trucks idled, a tableau of ash and accusation. That night, over takeout in her kitchen, she confronted. Tell me, he crumbled, confession spilling. Not just the ex, but us me. Henry? You and my Henry. Her voice broke, glass shattering in the sink. I arrived too late. Her text a siren, we need to talk. Now. The brownstone door yawned, her eyes red-rimmed. How long? Aaron sat silent, defeated. Not long. A mistake. Lies again. But kinder. She slapped me then, palm sting like rebar snap. My best friend. My brother. Sobs racked her, and I knelt, begging forgiveness, the humanistic core of us fracturing. Aaron fled to the guest room, leaving wreckage. The fallout was a slow burn, not the flashover I'd feared Boston's way, grudges nursed like stouts in corner pubs. Sarah didn't speak to me for days, her silence a heavier weight than any collapse. The call. Texts pinging into void. I'm sorry. Let me explain. Nothing. Aaron vanished too. Radio silence from his number. His firm's office forwarding to voicemail. The station became sanctuary. Shifts blurring into a rhythm of runs and rests. The bells toll my confessor. A 2-alarm in Jamaica Plain pulled me from reverie. A family duplex. Kids' toys melting in the blaze. We saved the parents. But the toddler. Gone. Smoke's quiet thief. The call hollowed me. That tiny weight absent from my arms. And I drove to Sarah's after. Uninvited. Bottle of Jameson in hand, the Our Brand peacemaker. She answered in sweats. Hair unwashed. But let me in. Defeat in her drag. We sat on the stoop. Passing the bottle. City sounds a distant hum. I loved him, she whispered. First words in a week. But now. I see it. The distance. And you, God. Henry. Why? Tears tracked her cheeks. And I wiped one. Thumb gentle. Fear. He's intoxicating. But you're my heart. Half-truth. She was compass. He was conflagration. She leaned on my shoulder. The old pose. But changed wary. Queer as fuck. Aren't you? Always knew. But this. We talked till stars wheeled. Confessions uncoiling. Her own doubts. A college fling with a roommate she'd buried. His patterns. Charm masking chaos. He called you baby? She laughed. Hollow. In bed. With me. Now it makes sense. Aaron returned the next day. Suitcase in hand. Face gaunt. I fucked up. We 3 convened in the living room. Air thick as pre-storm ozone. His ex had been a ghost, literal. A one-night-in-a-week moment. But us? Real, he admitted. Eyes on me pleading. Too real. Sarah listened. Then stood. Out. Both of you. I need space. He went to a hotel. Me to the station bunk, bunkies snoring symphonies. Sleepless. I scrolled his Insta. Architectural renders. Cape sunsets. A shirtless shot from last summer that twisted the knife. Delete urge strong. But I pocketed the phone. Dreaming of reconciliations forged in fire. Weeks ground on. A rhythm of avoidance. Sarah texted sparingly. Gallery openings. Sock scores, tentative bridges. Aaron cornered me post-shift at the Cladaw. Booth our old haunt. Miss you. His hand on mine under table. Electric still. Don't. But I didn't pull away. She's healing. Give it time. Time? It mocked us. A mutual friend's wedding in the Berkshires forced convergence. Vows under autumn maples. Champagne flutes clinking like judgments. Sarah came solo. Radiant in emerald silk. Dancing with cousins while I nursed a whiskey at the bar. Aaron arrived late. Tux rumpled. I scanning till they locked on me. Dance. The floor was packed. Bodies swaying to a cover band's Wonderwall. And we moved to the edge. His hand low on my back. This is torture, he murmured. Breath on my neck. I spun him out. Formal, but pulled close. Hips aligning. Self-inflicted. The song shifted. Slow and Sinatra smooth. And we swayed. His forehead to mine. I love you. The words slipped. Unplanned. But true. Deep as the harbor. Turbulent. Sarah saw. From across the room. Glass pausing mid-sip. She didn't approach. Just watched. Then slipped away early. Uber taillights fading into night. My phone buzzed later. saw that. Happy for you? No. But talk soon. Back in Boston, the climax brewed. A nor'easter slamming the coast. Winds howling like banshees. Rain lashing windows like accusations. I was on a rare off day, helping Sarah hang a show neutral ground. Her olive branch. Canvases leaned. Bold strokes of red and regret. And we worked companionable. Radio blasting NPR. Then Aaron called her. Audible. Babe. The firm's flooded. Need backup. She handed me the phone. I's challenging. Talk to him. I took it. Voice steady. On my way. The site was Seaport. His office tower half submerged. Pumps chugging futile. I arrived soaked. Turnout jacket over civvies, no gear. Just grit. He met me in the lobby. Drenched. Hugging tight. You came. We waded to the server room. Water ankle deep. Sparks hissing from outlets. Shut it down. I yelled over Gale. Yanking plugs while he bag drives. A surge hit then, lights flickering. Panel exploding in blue arc. Threw him back. Current dancing on wet tile. Body convulsing. Aaron. I dove. Tackling him clear. Hands on his chest pumping compressions. Mouth to mouth breathing life. Stay with me. Baby, fight. EMTs swarmed. Defib paddles whining. And he arched. Gasp ragged. Sarah arrived amid chaos. Face ashen. Clutching my arm as they loaded him. Hospital, she commanded. And we rode together. Her hand in mine. The storm outside mirroring within. Vigil in the ER waiting room, vending coffee bitter. Magazines unread. She broke first. Sobs muffled in my chest. I can't lose him. Or you. I held her. The triad tangled eternal. You won't. Hours later. He woke. Groggy. Tubes snaking. Henry. Sarah. We flanked the bed. Her taking his hand. Mine brushing hair from his brow. Idiots, she whispered. Both of you. Rehab was joint PT sessions where I'd spot him on the rower. Her bringing lunches. The three of us rebuilding. Betrayal's scar faded. Not gone. But humanized. Forgiveness a choice. Love multifaceted. One night, post-dinner at her place, homemade lasagna, wine flowing, he pulled me aside in the hall. Marry her, half joke, I serious. Or us. I kissed him then, soft, Sarah's laughter echoing from the kitchen. All of us, I said, the humanistic truth settling. Boston's heartbeat on dramatic, flawed, enduring, like the love we'd forged from ash. But wait, no easy bow. The climax crested that winter, a warehouse blaze in the Navy Yard, echoes of our first sin. I was inside, leading vent, when the roof sagged, premonition chill. Evac, I radioed, but a secondary exploded gas main. Captain later said, and the world caved. I woke in smoke, leg pinned again, beam crushing like fate's irony. Voices above, faint, Callahan, hold on, but closer, hallucination or heroics. Aaron's voice, baby, I'm here, know him, irrational, but I clawed, whispering his name like prayer. They pulled me out, chopper to mass general, bones knit with pins. Sarah and Aaron at bedside, faces mirrors of relief and ruin. You scared us, she said, kissing knuckles. He leaned in, whisper, my something more. Healing came layered, physical therapy's grind. Therapy's couch where I unpacked closets long locked. Sarah dated casual. A curator with kind eyes, Aaron and I navigated. Nights stolen when she traveled. His apartment a haven of blueprints and bodies. But the betrayal lingered, a ghost at feasts, until one spring common picnic. Blankets spread. She laid it bare. Poly? Or part ways? We chose expansion. Not explosion, rules drawn over IPAs. Honesty absolute. Hearts consulted. It wasn't American dream cookie cutter. But ours, dramatic, emotional, raw. Summer scorched Boston like a grudge. Humidity clinging like unspoken sins. The Charles a sluggish vein under Esplanade haze. My leg mended crooked. A limp on rainy days. Reminder of the cave-in. But the department cleared me light duty. Then full bore come July 4th. Fireworks boomed over the harbor, echoing the bursts in my chest when Aaron's hand found mine in crowds. Sarah's wink conspiratorial. Our triad bloomed tentative. Dinners at legal seafoods. Crab cakes and confessions. Weekends in Provincetown. Dunes whispering acceptance. Where I'd surf waves while they walked hand in hand. Later joining in tangled sheets under ceiling fans. It was romantic. Yes, stolen kisses in alleyways off Newberry. His architecture sketches of our loft. Her paintings capturing us in abstract fury. But dramatic undercurrents pulled. Whispers at station barbecues. Callahan's got a harem? Mikey's jest masking curiosity. Sarah's mom, old-school Irish, crossing herself at mentions. Aaron's firm partners side-eyeing the distraction. Conflict reignited autumn. Leaves carpeting streets like caution tape. A call to his office, prototype model for a Fenway pavilion. Sparks from a soldering iron igniting foam board. I arrived first responder. Axe ready. But inside him and the intern. That blonde kid from Roxbury. Too close. Hands on hips in what could be guidance or grope. Smoke curled lazy. Alarm wailing. And I froze. Beam swinging forgotten. Henry. Aaron's face paled. Shoving the kid back. It's nothing, demo gone wrong. The intern bolted. Coughing. And I vented the room. Rage hotter than the smolder. Outside. Hoses doused embers. But ours? Again. I hissed. Gear steaming. He grabbed my arm. Jealous? Good. Means you care. Sarah heard via grapevine. Confronting over coffee at Thinking Cup. Donuts untouched. Trust. Aaron. We're building it brick by brick. Don't torch it. He swore fidelity. Poly rules intact. No solos without consult. But doubt seeded. My nights patrolled by what-ifs. The real storm hit November. Gales off the sound-toppling trees. Power lines snapping like veins. Station flooded with calls. Car wrecks. House fires from candles, and I pulled a double. Body aching. Soul frayed. Mid-shift. Sarah called. Aaron's missing. Storm took the Audi. Said he was heading to a site in Revere. Heart seized. Visions of twisted metal. His green eyes sightless. I commandeered the truck post call. Captain's nod grim. Racing North Shore roads slick as betrayal. Radio crackled. Coasties spotting debris off Lynn Beach, and I ditched the rig. Boots pounding sand. Waves crashing like accusations. There, the Audi. Half buried in dunes. Hood crumpled against a pine. Aaron. Yell swallowed by wind. But a groan answered him. Slumped against the dash. Blood trickling temple. I pried the door. Glass shards biting. Hauling him out fireman style. his weight dead but breathing shallow. Stay with me. Baby, talk to me. Salt spray stung. But I carried him inland. Phone dead. Flagging a patrol car with flares from the glove box. Again. Stitches and scans. Sarah arriving wild-eyed. Collapsing into me. Thank you. Again. He woke to us. Her tears. My vigil. Drove angry. He confessed later. Alone. That in turn flirt. Nothing more. But you doubting. It broke me. Vulnerability cracked his polish. And I kissed the bruise blooming on his cheek. We're human. Flawed. But together. Together. The word sacrament. Humanism deepened winter. Holidays a gauntlet. Sarah's family Thanksgiving, turkey and tensions. Her degrilling me on settling down. Oblivious to our mosaic. We played straightish. Aaron as the boyfriend, me best mate. But under table, ankles linked. A secret chain. Christmas Eve. Her gallery's solstice party. Twinkling lights. Queer artists mingling. And we danced as three slow, scandalous drawing stares, then cheers. A painter friend sketched us quick. Lines fluid as our love. But climax loomed, inevitable as high tide. Spring brought a department gala, black ties and badges, Fenway Park transformed ballroom. I scrubbed up, tucks straining over shoulders, Sarah in sapphire gliding like grace, Aaron in bespoke wool, jaw sharp. Toasts rang, to the bravest, but whispers followed, my entourage, eyebrow raises from brass. Mid-waltz, with Sarah light in my arms, Aaron cut in, hand possessive on her waist, eyes on me over her shoulder. Heat flared old jealousy, new possessiveness, and later, in a coat room alcove, we collided, mouths bruising, her joining seamless, a triad tango against fur stoles. Mine, he growled, her laugh breathy. Ours. Dawn found us at my place. Sheets a battlefield, bodies mapped anew. But morning brought the axe. Captain's summons. Rumors of conduct unbecoming. Anonymous tip. Likely a bigot on the force. Departments changing. Callahan. But slow. Keep it private. Betrayal's echo. Institutional this time. Sarah rallied. Lawyer friend prepping briefs. Aaron. Connections in City Hall. We fought. Letters and meetings. My speech at Union Hall raw. Love's not the enemy. Fire is. Let me fight it my way. Summer solstice. Verdict. No discipline, but discretion advised. Victory Pyrrhic, but ours humanity affirmed. One bureaucratic scalp. By fall's turn, Boston exhaled. Crisp air carrying cider scents from farm stands. Red Sox clinching playoffs in extra innings that mirrored our overtime heart. The loft Aaron designed materialized in Fort Point. Exposed brick and harbor views. Our commune. Sarah's studio corner splashed color. My gear locker by the door. His drafting table strewn blueprints of futures. Mornings blended, coffee brewed. Kisses traded. The domestic romantic in its rhythm. Yet drama lingered. Emotional tides ebbing. A call to Sarah's gallery. Arson suspected. Rival torching abstracts, and I responded. Badge heavy. Finding her amid char. Tears black-streaked mascara. Why? Aaron held her. Me containing the scene. Evidence bagged while our foundation quaked. Culprit caught quick. Jealous ex-employee. Confession spilling like gasoline. But the scare bonded us tighter. Vulnerability's glue. Winter whispered bye-kink, a nor'easter blanketing the city white, stranding us indoors. Board games devolved to strip poker, laughter to moans, the fire escape frosted witness to our heat. Erin's whispers, baby, deeper, interlaced with her sighs, a symphony of surrender. Post-climax, tangled, we talked legacies, adoption dreams, her maternal ache, my fears of fatherhood's fragility, Fire's orphan maker, his vision of family unbound by blood. Spring bloomed conflict anew, a job offer for Erin, DC firm, monuments needing his touch. 6 months, maybe, he said over dim sum in Chinatown, chopsticks pausing. Sarah's face fell, mine mirrored. Leave us, she challenged, hurt lancing. Or choose. Nights fractured, arguments echoing off loft beams, doors slamming like shutters. I mediated, neutral ground, but heart pulled triune. Go, I urged finally, over rooftop beers, city lights sprawling. Grow. We'll anchor, he resisted, then relented, packing with kisses that bruised. His absence was amputation, flights monthly, FaceTimes fragmented by time zones. Sarah and I deepened, dates to Symphony Hall, her head on my shoulder during Mahler's ache, nights where I topped her gentle, honoring the almost that became all. But longing gnawed, texts from him, miss my firefighters, fueling solo fantasies. Climax crashed midsummer, his return unannounced, suitcase thumping in the hall. Couldn't, he dropped to knees, us enveloping, a reunion raw, tears, thrusts, truths. DC's marble. Your flesh, the offer rescinded, loyalty reaffirmed. Humanistic close unfolded autumn, leaves gold as grace. Sarah's show, triptych of us, flames and forms entwined, sold out, critics praising queer American epic. We toasted at the after-party, arms linked, Mikey toasting to the Callahans, expanded edition, department thawing, acceptance viral. One dawn, harbor mist rising, Erin proposed not rings, but vows, build with me. Always, Sarah's yes tear-choked, mine gravel rough. No church, but city hall, then a cape ceremony, waves crashing chorus, friends witnessing our mosaic. Years blurred, my captaincy, her gallery empire, his skyline signatures. Kids came, adopted twins, rambunctious redheads teaching tenderness. A bio surprise for Sarah, dark curls like Erin's. Fires raged, but we quenched, trio unbreakable, love's blaze eternal. In quiet moments, atop our roof deck, Boston sprawling like a lover spent, Erin's head on my lap, Sarah's hand in his. I reflect, heroes aren't born in bunkers, but forged in falls. We rose, scarred and shining, something more than labels, family, fierce and free. The end? No beginnings, endless as the tide.